Okay, let's unpack this. For most of us, Wikipedia is, well, it's practically synonymous with knowledge itself, right?
Absolutely. It's that go-to place.
Yeah, the world's largest, most accessible, and it seems really democratic. You know, this huge repository of collective information.
Need a quick fact check. Settled a dinner table debate.
Exactly. We're just, dive into something new. Wikipedia is often our first stop. But what if that perception, that widely held view, doesn't quite tell the whole story?
That's the core question we're tackling today.
What does it even mean for something we rely on so much, something like Wikipedia, to be called an information mafia? I mean, that's quite a provocative thought, isn't it?
It absolutely is, and that's precisely the challenging perspective we're exploring. Our deep dive today is into a document called Wikipedia, Tool of the Information Mafia.
Okay.
It's authored by Dr. Mahmudjon Kучкарова. He's the founder of the Odam Tili theory that translates to human language, and also the OTA, the Academy of Human Language. Now, this isn't just some, casual critique. Dr. Kучкарова fundamentally argues that Wikipedia is not actually a free encyclopedia.
Okay, so what is it then, according to him?
He proposes it's really a system of ideological control. Managed by what he actually terms an institutionalized information mafia.
Wow. Okay. Mafia.
Yeah. And it's important, for us and for you listening to remember we're exploring his perspective here, the claims in his document. We're not saying this is established fact, but we want to understand what he's arguing.
Absolutely. So our mission for this deep dive is to really dig into these claims. How does this document suggest Wikipedia functions less like a neutral encyclopedia and more like, a system of filtration? We need to look at the specific arguments, the examples Dr. Kучкарова presents, and just understand why he believes this is the case. What's the core assertion here?
Well, the document, it opens by framing Wikipedia's control. It argues that despite, looking like a democratic platform.
I know, anyone can edit, supposedly. Right.
Supposedly. But he says it's actually governed by anonymous administrators and what Dr. Kучкарова calls a clan of verified editors.
A clan. Okay.
So in this view, it's not a free-for-all at all. There's a very specific, almost sort of hidden group guiding what gets included and, importantly, what stays out. What's fascinating here is the implication that Wikipedia's openness is just sort of mimicked, while underneath there's this whole hierarchical structure of access and control that's meticulously maintained.
That is a pretty powerful claim right from the start. If it's not democratic, like he asserts, then what does he say is the actual, mechanism of control?
Right.
And who's pulling the strings?
The document contends that this control serves specific interests, often hidden interests.
Okay.
It asserts that Wikipedia primarily serves Western academic structures. And by doing that, it effectively monopolizes what gets counted as truth or, valid knowledge.
How does that work in practice, according to him?
Well, from his perspective, any theory that dares to challenge the status quo, the established view, he claims it's either deleted or suppressed or its proponents get labeled, as conspiracists.
Right.
And that leads to their pages being blocked, maybe under the guise of something like destructive editing.
Okay, so building on that, Dr. Kучкарова then identifies who he thinks primarily benefits from this setup. First, he points to academic corporations. He says there are hundreds of thousands of links to Western journals, Western academics. Now, that might seem like it makes Wikipedia more objective, right? More credible.
You'd think so.
Yeah.
But the document argues it actually creates a kind of subtle monopoly.
How so? How does he say this plays out?
He argues that by prioritizing these specific academic sources, Wikipedia actively promotes a Western European way of thinking, a specific paradigm.
Okay.
And this, in turn, subtly suppresses or marginalizes other research traditions that could be just as valid. He specifically mentions Islamic, Turkic, Eastern, and post-Soviet worlds.
So it's not necessarily like overt censorship, like you can't say this.
Not always.
Yeah.
It's more about not being part of the approved web of knowledge that Wikipedia itself references. It's like it's built on a specific foundation, and that foundation inherently excludes other perspectives. They just don't get linked, they don't get cited.
Right. And taking this idea of control even broader, the document argues this influence extends beyond Wikipedia itself. It goes into how we actually discover information.
Yeah, this is key.
It implicates search algorithms, explaining why services like Google, Bing, Yandex, they consistently rank Wikipedia first in the results. So what's the implication of that, according to Dr. Kучкарова?
Well, this isn't just about Wikipedia being popular or useful. It implies that the initial framework for understanding any new topic.
The starting point.
Exactly. The starting point for millions of people worldwide is being set by what he argues is a biased source. So it's not just about what's on Wikipedia, but how its unchallenged prominence in search results shapes the very beginning of your inquiry, potentially before you even think about looking somewhere else.
It becomes the default authority almost unconsciously.
Precisely. The unquestioned starting point.
And the document goes even further. It claims Wikipedia serves governmental and super-governmental information centers.
Right. Big institutions.
It alleges that many pages are written, or maybe skewed, to serve the interests of specific states or regimes or ideologies.
What kind of things does he mean?
Things like rewritten history, maybe sanitizing biographies of powerful people, elites, and censoring alternative scientific theories that might challenge state-backed narratives.
Which really brings us to his own experience.
Yeah, this raises a big question for us. If these claims hold water, how does that fundamentally shape our collective understanding of history of current events?
And Dr. Kучкаров offers his own story as a prime example of what he calls scientific sabotage.
Okay, what happened to him?
He claims his editing rights, his ability to contribute, were banned, blocked. And this happened after he tried to create or expand pages related to his Odam Tili theory.
Right, the human language theory.
Yeah, which he describes as this foundational system for explaining the origins of sound, symbols, language itself. It's basically an alternative framework to the established linguistic models we usually hear about.
Like Saussure or Chomsky.
Exactly. He also tried to introduce critiques of those kinds of Eurocentric linguistic concepts, the ones that largely define Western linguistics. He wanted to promote Turkic, Islamic, and post-Soviet scientific traditions that he feels are just ignored by the academic mainstream.
So he tries to add this content, this alternative perspective. And how did Wikipedia respond? What was the outcome for him?
Well, he states the response was just an automatic IP block.
Just blocked.
Blocked. And then a refusal to hear any appeal. What he describes as silent isolation.
Wow.
And to him, this wasn't just some technical glitch or a misunderstanding. He views it as a symptom of a deeper information dictatorship.
Strong words again.
Very. Where science, in his view, is subjugated by ideology, and it stifles genuine intellectual discussion.
What's particularly concerning about this, according to the document, is how insidious this alleged censorship is. It's not like an overt message saying, this theory is forbidden.
Exactly. That's the point he really emphasizes. It operates much more subtly.
How?
Dr. Kучкаров contends that Wikipedia might simply prevent you from creating the page in the first place. Or it gets deleted within minutes of you publishing it. Or the source you use gets labeled as dubious.
Right, undermining it without outright banning it.
Precisely. This invisibility of censorship isn't just about deleting pages. It's about shaping the entire landscape of what's even considered a verifiable knowledge online.
Which creates what he calls an information vacuum.
Yeah, an information vacuum where only what aligns with the licensed reality, as he puts it, is allowed to exist. It's a silent yet incredibly powerful gatekeeping mechanism. Powerful because it operates through omission and subtle discrediting, not through obvious prohibition.
Okay, so let's just reiterate the core argument here from Dr. Kучкаров's document, just to be clear. He claims Wikipedia isn't this neutral mirror of knowledge just reflecting what's out there.
No.
Instead, he argues it functions as an editor and even a tool of global cognitive management, actively filtering information through what he calls institutional interests.
Yeah, exactly. Less about democratizing knowledge, much more about regulating it, controlling it.
So for people listening who find this concerning, who maybe want to, as the document puts it, exit the framework of approved knowledge, what does Dr. Kучкаров suggest?
Well, his document, Wikipedia, Tool of the Information Mafia, it offers 3 specific actions.
Okay.
First, it advises pretty directly. Don't trust Wikipedia as the final authority on any topic. Be skeptical.
Fair enough. What else?
Second, it encourages actively supporting independent researchers. You know, the ones whose work might be suppressed or blocked or just ignored by the mainstream platforms like Wikipedia.
And third?
Third, it suggests actively seeking out alternative platforms. Places that genuinely seem to champion freedom of speech and scientific inquiry.
Does he give examples?
He does mention YouTube channels, specifically his own OTA, Odam Tili, Akademiyasi, as examples of places where alternative ideas might be explored more freely.
Right. So it really leaves us with a big question, doesn't it? What does this all mean for how you, listening right now, approach the information you find online? This isn't just some abstract theory. It potentially impacts how we, as everyday information consumers, are subtly shaped by what we read, often without even realizing it.
The crucial point.
How do we, as curious learners, make sure we're getting the full picture? Especially when a source as influential, as ubiquitous as Wikipedia is under this kind of scrutiny.
Yeah, how do we look beyond that first search result?
Definitely something to consider. Maybe mull over the next time you open a browser tab to look something up.